All right, so I got Barry Stohlman from Stohlman Kilner Remodeling with me today. Barry is out in, I think are you in the DC area or
I'm in
Maryland?
Chevy Chase, Maryland.
Okay. So Barry today is going to talk to us a little bit about Azek Vast. It's a type of product used for decks and it's a paver of some sort. So I'm going to let Barry kind of take over and talk a little bit about what's he doing on this particular project on this home, a little bit about costs, some of the benefit of these products. So, Barry, take it away. So first of all, you're in Chevy Chase. What are you doing today on this project?
Yeah, David, this is a rooftop deck. We're here at this home where there has been an addition built in the past. This is the original home. This is the addition. Out of the addition, you come through these doors onto a rooftop deck. I can't show you from here, but below me is finished basement space. In fact, I'm elevated 1 floor off the ground. So I've got basically 130 square foot area here where folks can have a grill and a fully enclosed rooftop deck. Now, the issue was that this deck was built in such a way that it kept leaking into the home. So we had to come up with a solution how to keep this deck from leaking into the basement below. And the challenge always is you can use a membrane roof. What you're looking at here is a rubber membrane roof. Fantastic solution, nice and watertight, but it's not particularly pleasing to look at, nor is it something intended to be walked on. So there is a solution. That solution is called Azek Vast, made by Azek Company. This is, I believe, recycled tires or rubber of some sort. They're basically bricks that are set on a grid, and this grid is completely loose. And the way it all stays down is by an interlocking pattern. You connect the bricks like you would Legos almost, if you remember that when you were a kid.
Yeah.
That locks the grids together, creating, and you can do various patterns, running bond or different types of patterns. But the whole key is that this entire assembly simply sits on my rubber roof. Neither the grids below nor the bricks themselves are fastened in any way. So there's no penetrations, no screws, no nails, no nothing penetrating my rubber membrane roof. So nowhere for water to go. The water runs right through the bricks, through the grid, and then down onto this drain board. Excuse me, let me see if I can show you that. This drain board here is a dimpled sort of product, plastic material that catches the water and runs it out to the perimeter where the water then just flows out. We've created a space here for the water to flow, and all the water just runs right off the deck. And if there were to be any water, and below that I have this membrane roof. We've done this a couple of times now. This solution has worked very well, and it's also quite nice to look at. And in addition, these bricks, you put your grill out here and, charcoal drops and burns one of the bricks. You can simply lift out a middle brick, replace it with a new one, and you're good as new.
So the
Azek Vast.
Vast with a V like Victor?
V-A-S-T, that's correct.
Okay. So is there any type of gluing at all involved or at all on any of the installation? Or
Other than the membrane roof itself, which is applied by the roofer, the way they would apply those, and yes, that is adhered to the typical, sheathing, roof sheathing below. But once you put that layer down, the white layer, see if I can show you that without blinding you. Hang on just a second.
okay.
So this is the rubber membrane roof, which is used on flat roof applications, perfectly sealed, perfectly adhered, and allows water to flow down here, we spaced the fascia out away from the house so that the water actually flows down, and this is flashed and everything as needed. But from this white surface beyond or upward, there is no more glue, screws, nails, or any other fasteners.
Got it. So, but it doesn't, like, once you put the pavers on it, it's heavy enough and all that. I mean, I'm just asking kind of basic questions here, but it's not going to slide around at all. If on top of that membrane.
Well, remember, we do have a railing on this deck, and of course you need the railing for other purposes, but the railing acts as a perimeter, which sort of captures the grids in such a way that they can't slide away and slide off. So yes, they're in a sense like a floating floor.
Okay. So it's like, yeah, it's a little bit like a Pergo, not Pergo, but the brand or Armstrong Pergo, where they just kind of put it over the top of a kitchen or okay.
In the sense that it's floating and not adhered to the substrate below, yes.
Yeah, like the interlocking floor for the inside. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So the waterproofing comes from the membrane that's installed. So the pavers is more just to make it look better, a harder surface, so it's not going to get damaged.
Absolutely.
Any other
the paver is aesthetic. Of course, it's a nice brick look, but it's there for good looks. The membrane below is what is keeping this thing watertight. In addition to that, the drain board is what is allowing the water to wash off this roof properly. And if it's done and executed properly, your rubber membrane probably will not even get wet. And if it were, to get wet, it's perfectly watertight.
Yeah. So do the pavers does it look and feel kind of like the Trex decking? Is that kind of what?
A little bit, yeah. It's got a little bit more of a texture of a brick, I would say. It's a little bit rough on the surface. The brick is itself, but sort of like a Trex application.
Easy on the feet, though.
Oh yeah.
And
easier than brick would be. More comfortable than brick.
But you can use this, now you're using this on this type of patio deck. You can also use it as a walkway on a driveway as well. Can you use it on a driveway, a car to drive across it?
Yeah, you find all the information you need. Azek Vast has lots of information. There are actually 3 different types, 3 different thicknesses of bricks. The ones we're using is a resurfacing paver made for these applications. There are other types of Azek Vast products that are meant for, setting in sand and such, more like a walkway down on the ground.
Okay. And they can be probably pretty easily cleaned too. If they pressure wash, you can just pressure wash it when you need to clean it.
Yeah, absolutely, you could. Now, I do believe that they fade some with time, just as any deck material would with the UV and such. But I'm sure that you could pressure wash this with no problem.
Cost. Let's talk about cost for a minute too. So, what would be some ideas that people are out there looking for this type of option? I know it'll look really nice, but is this?
Well, this project, just as an example, this project's about 130 square feet, and what it entailed for us was removal of the existing tile. We removed all of the the roof sheathing, re-insulated the space below that had gotten wet, and then put down new sheathing, new membrane roof, redid all of the exterior trim fascia, and installed the Azek Vast and reinstalled the railings. Again, this is about 130 feet. This project is right around $19,000 as a repair project. So it's not inexpensive, but it ultimately is less expensive than fixing leaky roofs.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, very good. So if they have any questions, they can go to the website, and then your website is stohlmankilner.com. What kind of, just in summary, what kind of things do you offer your clients?
Well, these folks here, the reason we're doing this project is we did an addition for these folks 2 or 3 years ago. We generally do residential additions and major remodeling, and having done a project for these folks in the last 2-3 years, when they called us, of course, we were happy to come out and see if we could come up with a solution for them. But our bread and butter projects are additions and remodeling in the DC metro area.
You do full kitchens as well, kitchens and baths?
Yes, kitchen and bath remodeling, yes.
Okay. How long of a project, how long will this take you here, what you're working on now?
This project is about labor, it's about 6 days total.
Okay.
6 to 8 days. It was started last week and it'll be completed today.
Got it. Well, very good. Well, thanks for jumping on here. This is good information, and appreciate you taking the time today. Barry Stohlman, Stohlman Kilner. You can check him out at www.stohlmankilner.com. If you guys are in the DC metro area, primarily he works in Kensington, Chevy Chase, the surrounding areas around there, Northwest DC.
Northwest, yes.
Yep. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, David.
Yep.
Take care.